Let's go Ravens! Something is happening right now within the Baltimore Ravens organization that could change everything, and the craziest thing is that almost no one is talking about the real reason. This isn't just another preseason story. This could define the franchise's future. Before we reveal what's really going on, give this a like if you still believe this team was built to win everything. And leave a comment right now to spread this positive energy. Right, we are stronger than ever, Ravens on the road to the top. Now let's get straight into it. One of the biggest and most grounded reasons behind this delay could be something that every Ravens fan watched unfold last season, the offensive line situation. And honestly, it wasn't just bad, it was alarming. We're talking about a unit that, despite staying consistent in terms of personnel from the beginning to the end of the season, failed where it mattered most, protecting the franchise quarterback. Run blocking? Solid at times. But pass protection? That's where everything collapsed. The interior line especially struggled, and Lamar Jackson paid the price for it repeatedly. Week after week, he was getting hit, not occasionally, but constantly. In the opening stretch of the season alone, games against Buffalo, Cleveland, and Detroit showed just how vulnerable he was. In fact, that Detroit game saw an overwhelming amount of pressure applied to Lamar, reaching historic levels. And then came the game against Kansas City. That was the breaking point. Lamar Jackson was knocked out of the game due to the pressure he faced. That moment wasn't just a turning point in the game, it was a flashing warning sign for the entire organization. And yet, what happened after that? No changes, no adjustments. The same offensive line remained intact, even after the quarterback, the face of the franchise, went down because of it. From Lamar's perspective, you have to ask the real question. How do you commit long-term to a team that hasn't shown it can protect you properly? Especially when you've made it clear time and time again that you want to be recognized as a passer. Lamar has fought against the narrative his entire career, that he's just a runner, that he should change positions, and he has proven repeatedly that he is a capable passer. But the structure around him has forced him into situations where running isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. If you're Lamar Jackson, and you're seeing that the system still leans on your legs instead of fully supporting your arm, that raises serious questions about your future there. Now let's add another layer to this situation, the arrival of a new head coach. A new regime always brings hope, but it also brings uncertainty. There's excitement, yes, expectations of a turnaround, a fresh voice, a new direction. But at the same time, there's the unknown. No one has seen how this new leadership will manage the roster, how they'll prepare the team, or how they'll execute on game day. From Lamar's side, that could create hesitation, not rejection, but caution. Instead of rushing into a long-term commitment, it makes sense to wait and see how things unfold under this new leadership before locking in for the future. And then there's the other side of the table, the front office. Lamar Jackson holds significant leverage right now. A no-trade clause, a no-tag clause. These are not small details, they are massive factors. It means the Ravens don't control his future in the traditional way. If things don't go well, they can't simply tag him or move him without his approval. That power lies with Lamar. So from the team's perspective, it's possible they're trying to regain some level of control, some leverage in negotiations, especially considering how intense and, frankly, ugly the previous contract negotiations became. That history matters. It shapes how both sides approach this current situation. Another key detail, Lamar prefers to negotiate during the offseason, and once the season starts, discussions shut down completely. That creates a very tight window for any deal to get done, putting pressure squarely on the front office to act quickly if they want progress. So when you combine all these elements, concerns about protection, uncertainty with a new coaching regime, Lamar's leverage, and the timing of negotiations, you start to see a much clearer picture. This isn't about one issue. It's about multiple layers all colliding at once. And the big question now becomes, are the Ravens willing to address these concerns in a way that truly convinces Lamar Jackson to commit long-term, or will this situation continue to drift without resolution? And when you keep digging deeper into this situation, there's another layer that Ravens fans cannot ignore, because it directly impacts the future of this franchise. This isn't just about money, and it never really was. This is about control, trust, and direction, and right now, all three are still being tested. Let's talk about leverage again. Because Lamar Jackson isn't just in a strong position, he's in one of the most powerful positions any quarterback in the league can have. With both a no-trade clause and a no-tag clause, the Baltimore Ravens are operating in a reality where, if Lamar decides he doesn't want to continue, there's nothing they can do to stop him. They can't force a tag. They can't ship him elsewhere. Everything depends on his decision. And that changes everything in how negotiations are handled. From Lamar's side, there's no urgency to rush. He already has security, he already has control, and most importantly, he has the ability to walk away if things don't align with what he believes is best for his career. That's rare. That's powerful. And that's something he fought hard to get during those previous negotiations that, as we know, got extremely tense and even escalated beyond just the Ravens. It became a league-wide situation. Now flip that perspective to the front office. If you're Eric DeCosta, you're not just negotiating a contract, you're trying to maintain organizational stability. You're trying to make sure your franchise quarterback is locked in, committed, and aligned with the direction of the team. But at the same time, you may be looking at this situation and thinking, we need some balance back. We need some level of control in this deal. Because right now, the balance leans heavily toward Lamar Jackson. And that's where things can slow down. Not because either side doesn't want a deal, but because both sides are trying to shape that deal in a way that protects their future. Now let's revisit something that a lot of people outside the Ravens community keep bringing up. The idea that Lamar Jackson not having an agent is the reason this hasn't been finalized. But when you actually look at what's happened around the league and even within this team, that argument doesn't really hold up. We've seen situations where players with agents still go through complicated, drawn-out negotiations. Having an agent doesn't automatically make things smoother. Sometimes it just shifts the dynamics. And in Lamar's case, not having an agent actually gives him even more control. Every decision, every timeline, every detail, that's all him. And remember, that also means he keeps 100% of what he earns, without giving up that percentage to representation. But beyond the financial aspect, it's about autonomy. Lamar decides when to talk. Lamar decides when to pause. And as we've already seen, once the season starts, those conversations stop completely. So the Ravens are essentially working against the clock every offseason, knowing that if they don't get something done before the season begins, they'll have to wait again. And that delay, it keeps the tension alive. It keeps the uncertainty hanging over the team. But here's the part that really matters for the fans. Despite all of this, the concerns, the leverage, the hesitation, the past tensions, there's still hope inside the organization that this deal will get done. There's still a belief that both sides understand how important this partnership is. Because at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson isn't just another player. He is the identity of this team. He is the engine, the face, the leader. And losing that, that's not something the Ravens want to even imagine. But at the same time, Lamar has to feel protected. He has to feel supported. He has to believe that the team is truly building around him, not just saying it, but proving it through actions, through roster decisions, through coaching, and through commitment. So now we're at a crossroads. Will the Ravens take the necessary steps to show Lamar that this is the place where he can thrive long-term? Or will this gap, built on concerns, control, and uncertainty, continue to grow? And this is where everything becomes even more critical for the future of the Baltimore Ravens, because we're no longer just talking about a contract, we're talking about a defining moment for the franchise. Think about everything that has happened up to this point. Lamar Jackson has already proven his value on the field. He has carried this team through adversity, through inconsistent support, and through situations where, as we discussed earlier, the structure around him didn't always put him in the best position to succeed, especially when it came to protection. Now, with all the leverage he holds, this next decision isn't just about staying in Baltimore. It's about whether he truly believes that the organization is ready to match his level of commitment. Because from the outside looking in, you can see both sides very clearly now. On one side, the Ravens are trying to build something stable, something sustainable. They've gone through changes, brought in a new coaching direction, and are trying to reshape the identity of this team moving forward. But change takes time, and time is exactly what Lamar Jackson may not be willing to give without proof. On the other side, Lamar isn't just waiting, he's evaluating. Every move the team makes, every decision with the roster, every adjustment to the system, it all matters. Because for him,